Okay, so today we're going to start on our mini project, and while we're at it, we're going to learn a new conditional, which is Elif, but we'll get to that later. So first, we're going to start the opening. As you can see here, we got this. However, you can also put a new line character here. Next, we do the name check. Alright, so first this checks if the name is Ben. And if yes, it's going to ask, are you evil? And if the evil status is yes, then they'll get out of here. Else, then they'll just do sorry for asking. And then, however, if the name wasn't Ben, then I'll just skip all the way to this. Next, we're gonna ask the table number. Well, why would they ask for a table number? Well, people may want to get their table number because may want to ask what may want to pick a specific table because there might be like a good view or like good lighting or like comfortable seating and all of that junk. All of that stuff. Alright, so we got this. And when it says between 31 and 0, it excludes this and this in 0. Next, we're going to do the menu. And we're also going to print it out using a list. I mean, using a loop. We got this. So we got this list here. Then we got the items. Next, for this section, we're going to take the order. Alright, now let's get to the question, what is an Elif? An Elif is a special conditional where it combines an if and an else. So that means it's like this. If you get a black coffee, you can't just do another if, that'd be too messy. So what if you tried doing Elif? Elif stands for else if. So that means it's like if your order is black coffee, the price is free. Else, or this is kind of like an or when it comes to in conditional terms. Or if your order is iced mocha, so something like that. This elif helps create a chain, and you don't need to do like a whole bunch of ifs. So what we're gonna add here is an else. All right. Next. Then we're going to do this. The quantity, the total, the print. This. Bam. Alright, now I'll explain how all of this works. So first, we get this opening. And then we create a variable. Then we convert it to a string. And then ask the input of the user. Then it checks if the name is Ben. And if the evil status. And then we made another variable. This is also converted to a string. Are you evil? If that's yes, then we're gonna kick him out, and then we immediately exit right after, so that the other code doesn't run. Otherwise, we'll just do this, and then it'll skip on to continue. But if the name wasn't Ben in the first place, then I'll just skip from here, and then it'll just keep going. So this variable is also converted to a string, and then we get the input, new line character there, and then the table number. It has to be low. It has to be 30 or lower, and the table number can't be 0 because the table number can't be 0 because it's like invalid or something. Why would there be a 0 table? Then if it's in there, like for example, if I type 24 in here and then from the input, then it'll tell me this. Also, this is concatenation. You've already done it. It's basically combining a value into a string or whatever it is. So for example, if there was something like this, and then okay, so we put the name here, and if then we get the name here, it takes the name Ben, and then it does this. So it combines this space, and then with this, then we add this. You could also concatenate multiple values. For example, what if I tried to concatenate this, and then add another variable? You can concatenate as many variables and strings as you want, but usually one is enough, unless it's really necessary. Then we're going to do the menu. This menu is very, very, very important. So we've got the strings here, and then we got the list. Now this is the menu. This is the loop that prints out the menu. Now then we get to the ordering section. This order asks the input of the user, and then now it checks. If the order is black coffee, then the price is free. Elif, the order is iced mocha. The order is $5, and then another Elif, price 8, all of that. Then, if the coffee isn't on the list, then it's busted. We're sorry, we don't have that coffee. And then we'll exit immediately right after, because we don't want this code to run. So quantity equals how many cups of this which do you like. And by the way, you can also create a variable of variables, and you can do all sorts of stuff with them. For example, you can do this, and then the next thing you get is that we convert, and then we put a variable in here. So it's kind of like you did this. Box equals int box multiplied by int box 2. So it's kind of like that. Next, we get the total here, and you can also concatenate while converting. For example, like this. And then after that, there's also, like I said in one of the previous videos, we've got this. This immediately creates a new line. However, unlike the exit, which terminates the program immediately, this one adds an extra space. And then the final line, print, I'll write your coffees here, enjoy. So that's it. Now, we're going to play along with Elif. Apparently, Elif is actually kind of special. We're going to create a new file. Hold on, let's just save this. And then we're going to create a new file, and then it'll ask. We could try Python. Alright, this is good. First we save it. Elif. Now we're gonna start it. So delete this the roof clutter. and then we got it. So first we're going to create a function. F jackpot. Okay, maybe not that, but still. Def check if flooded. Oh wait, check if erupting. Okay, this is a volcano though. Now we're going to do this. If volcano, if, okay, volcano erupting. Okay, hold on. We're gonna turn that into a parameter. True. Volcano. True. Then we're going to do return run shelter, and then we're gonna do an elif, and we're gonna have another parameter, tsunami. Oh man. True. Uh-oh. Okay, is this the right spelling? Equals true. Get to high ground. And then finally another elif. Then we have another one. True. This is gonna be earthquake. Oh, this is gonna be so crazy. Elif, earthquake. Let's get shooting. Earthquake. True. Then we get return. How do you escape an earthquake? There's a tsunami, and then the next thing you get is that there's a volcano erupting, there's a tsunami screaming at you, and then there's an earthquake rumbling the earth. So how do you escape? Easy. Just go in the opposite way of the tsunami using a boat. From the get away from the tsunami. And then finally an else. Then we type return disasters today. Now we gotta ask for the input now. Volcano status. Oh wait, we don't actually need these parameters. However, we can let this wait for a while. All right, hold on. Let's run it. Run, get to the shelter. However, if this was actually a print, hold on. Yeah. Lol. Anyway. Status. Okay, since we already got that, we're gonna delete all of this. Death. Disaster. There's gonna be no parameters this time. Volcano. STR input is the erupting, and if volcano equals yes, run. Okay, next. Okay, let's do this. Okay, hold on. Else, Elif, volcano. Not sure. Be careful. And Elif, volcano. No. Return. VQ. And then finally an else. What can we put in here? Return. There is no the volcano. The volcano is extinct. Oh, right. Okay. So there's a few stuff here. What? Why is this wrong? Okay, let's go to the problem here. Expected. What? Alright, let's do that again. Ah! Nice one. No. Alright, finally. Oh, right. We didn't do that. Hold on. Print. Disaster. Alright, let's get going. Is the volcano erupting? Then we do that again. We do that again. We do that again. Yes. Run. Not sure. Be careful. What if it's no? Okay. Alright, that's it for our video. That's it for our video.